All right, this is going to be a bit of a rant. And this is really for everyone out there who's looking for a job at the moment. And by way of context, I'm an old guy. I've been in tech for a long time, many different roles, principal engineer, director, etc. And I'd like to share my perspective about the status quo hiring market. And I'm going to make it as simple as I possibly can. The status quo hiring market, the thing that we all know and love, where you apply for jobs, send in a resume, that's all a gigantic process of elimination. Process of elimination. The entire goal and design of the system is to, as efficiently as possible, eliminate candidates from consideration. It is a process of elimination. At every stage of the hiring funnel, from the application screening to interviews to assessments, right down to background checks, it's all a process of elimination. And the specific goal of the system is to collect data points on a candidate that can be used to eliminate that candidate from consideration. So now that sucks. And it raises the question, why would any normal person voluntarily enter that system? Like, what's in it for you? Especially nowadays when jobs are kind of scarce. The cost of applying for a job is really so high in terms of the task cost. I mean, think about it. All of the resumes, tailoring your resume, filling out applications. If you have to do that a couple of times, big deal. But if you have to fill out thousands of applications, which is happening, now in the current conditions, what that means is you're really entering multiple lotteries. You've just entered yourself into multiple processes of elimination, and it doesn't actually increase your chances of getting a job. Because remember, statistically, the entire point of the system is to eliminate candidates from consideration. So there is another way, which if people are interested, drop a comment and I'll make a video about that. The point that I would like to leave you with is, remember when you were a kid and a teacher made you play kickball? The teacher assigns two captains, and then all the other kids line up on, on the backstop of the baseball field or whatever. And each captain in turn picks a player for their team. Well, there's always a kid who's picked last. That's the kid who essentially, there were many reasons to eliminate them from consideration until finally they were just the last choice. And that's the person that you have to assign to a team because there's no other option. Well, if you manage to survive a prolonged process of elimination hiring process, at the end of it, you're the kid who was picked last. And that's so important that I want you to really think about that. The person who is hired as the consequence of a status quo hiring process was not selected because of any specific attributes, values, characteristics, or impact that this person can bring to a team or a company. They were only selected because they're the least objectionable. Not, you couldn't find anything to object to or about that person. They were picked last. So what does that do for your prospects in a company? Imagine that you parachute into a new team and everyone knows, well, I don't know this person. They were just the person who was picked last. What kind of opportunities do you think you're going to get? What do you think it's going to be like with that company? Because they've already demonstrated that in your mind, in their mind, you're a number. You're completely interchangeable with, everyone else in the applicant pool. So, knowing what I know as someone who's been in the industry hiring and firing for a long time, The best advice that I can give you is to not voluntarily enter a process that is so stacked against you and that is so mathematically, like, the math doesn't work. For most candidates, the math just doesn't work. The process of elimination is not your friend. It is absolutely not your friend. But as I said, there are alternatives. They're just not documented. If it's of interest, just comment and I'll talk more about that.